Okay, so that table is set. So President Donald Trump is leading the Europeans. And by the way, deep down, the Europeans want to be led. It's kind of in their psychology. It's in their temperament. The Europeans are not, at this current moment, post-World War II, with the battered psychology and the post-World War II order. They need to be led either by the East or by the West. They're going to be led by the Chinese Communist Party, or they're going to be led by President Trump and the American nation. Europe used to be great. And really, honestly, World War II and the EU totally messed them up. If you look back post-World War II, yes, the Allies won, but all of Europe lost. That's the best way that you could put it. The Allies won, but 70, 80 years later, all of Europe lost. Now, of course, we defeated the Nazis, and that's amazing. We should celebrate that. But the Europe needs a leader who will tell them, it's okay to have an economy. It's okay to have cheap energy. It's okay to have a military, and it's okay to have a border. And so the United States, all of a sudden, hey, dad's home, unlike Joe Biden, which was just allowing all the maniacs for 4 years run the entire operation. Europe has been searching for this leader for the last couple of years. And they deep down want the United States to be the superpower because they have far more in alignment of values and worldview than the Chinese Communist Party. Now, we risk playing our hand too heavy. That's part of it. If you antagonize the European leaders too much, but I think President Donald Trump has done the harsh tariff lesson with a little bit of a charm offensive as well. You got Moroni there, you got Macron, great working relationship with President Trump. So all of that is the table set. Meanwhile, President Trump just had a very important and warm meeting as well with Vladimir Putin. So the meeting goes yesterday, and Mr. Zelensky came far more prepared for the meeting than he did previously. He said the right things. He was polite. He was cordial. He was respectful. He was very grateful. He dressed nicer. This was happening during our show yesterday. And we're going to go through some tape here, but now you know the table is set. Let's go to 350. Will Zelensky continue to send troops to their death, or is he ready to end it? Play cut 350.
President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, we live under each day attacks. That today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners. And we will do our best.
And look at the balancing act that President Trump has had to do here. So the Liberation Day set the table for why Europe has come to the table. Now, what set the table for why Vladimir Putin flew across Asia to Alaska? Well, that can be best explained in the hills of Iran. The fact that President Donald Trump was able to show the American Air Force might, fly all the way out and take out the Iranian nuclear facilities, that he was able to thread that needle, he was able to put on a masterclass. You see, Vladimir Putin said, oh, got it. See, all they understand is force. And then President Trump starts to feed more armaments to Ukraine, which, again, we were not big fans of. But I always put the asterisk, if President Trump is going to send more arms to Ukraine to get a peace deal, then I'm all for it. And we're going to have the confidence in President Trump to be able to do that because he has more than earned our confidence. And NATO bought the arms. And so it was a little bit different than Joe Biden just ACHing the money right into the Ukrainian pension fund. But it's all about leverage. So President Trump, if you look back, like, wow, if he's able to get this done, it did not just happen in an isolated moment. It happened from flying B-2 bombers all the way across the planet to Iran, and also the tariff setup happened on Liberation Day. Let's go this here. This is President Trump. This is Ursula von der Leyen. That's quite a European name. Ursula. Play cut 377 of Ursula von der Leyen. But it just sounds like
together as the two largest and biggest economies in the world, we had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 life security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Honestly, the most impressive part about Ursula, I was just looking this up, she has 7 kids. Good for you, Ursula. Not only are you the head of the European Commission, but you have 7 children. That is quite rare in Europe to have anybody with 7 kids that doesn't have the last name Khan or the first name Mohammed. So good for you, Ursula. The Ursulas of Europe need to have 7 kids. Now, what was she saying there that is so important? She was basically saying we need to stop the killing. And that is the main priority here. And then it sets the table for yet another meeting. You cannot get to the third meeting if you didn't meet with Putin and then you didn't meet with Zelensky. 7,000 people dying a week. And if you want to have some hope, it's that both sides are saying they want to stop the killing. So eventually they're going to break and hopefully come to some negotiated settlement. We hope. Let's play this one here. Let's play cut 374. It's President Trump's closing remarks. Again, he is the CEO. He is the managing director of this entire thing. Only the United States of America could end this. Only. And he deserves enormous moral credit for inserting himself. 7,000 people dying a week. For what? What is the objective? He is acting as the chief executive officer of the Western world. Play cut 374.
We're going to solve this, or is this horrible fighting going to continue? We'll do our best to get it ended. And I believe you have 2 willing parties, and usually that's good news, but 2 willing parties that want to make a deal. And we'll journey together, and we'll go over, and we'll see if it can be done. And it's possible it might not be able to be done. On the other hand, it's possible it will, and we're going to save thousands and thousands of lives a week. And so it's something we really have to do. And or at least we have to give it our best. It's all you can do. You can give it your best, but I think we may have a very good outcome.
By the way, people always say all the time, oh, President Trump isn't presidential. That right there, that 40 seconds, what could be more presidential than that? What could be more presidential than weighing the human cost, establishing your perspective, and the balance? Because you can't overly antagonize Vladimir Putin, you see? You can't overly antagonize the Russian Federation because Russia gets a vote here as well. This is, now we have this here. Hopefully that will allow us to get to a trilateral meeting. Here is Susan Rice, who was Obama's national security advisor, reacting to President Trump's masterclass of bringing both parties to the table, being able to satisfy the Europeans very positively, keeping Putin and his entire camp warm enough to bring him to a third meeting. Here's Susan Rice, play cut 362, total fraud.
I mean, really, Nicole, it's pathetic. It's been clearly and repeatedly established that Russia interfered in the 2016 election by disinformation campaigns, by social media efforts, by all sorts of means short of manipulating the actual vote. And that's just a fact.
This is all they have. We now know that the quote-unquote Russian interference was just to sow discord and disunity and not to favor a certain candidate. In fact, we have overwhelming evidence that Russia resisted helping Donald Trump despite very, very negative stories about Hillary Clinton that they could have dropped. Honestly, I thought that clip was from 2018. I thought that was from the Helsinki summit. Was that really recent? I thought that was like a Helsinki summit. I actually thought that was a 7-year-old clip from Susan Rice. She could have said that exact same thing right after the Helsinki summit with President Trump back, I think it was in the summer of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, summer of 2018. No, I think it is recent because it showed Trump on the tarmac with the red carpet. Let's go to cut 363.
Instead of doing the things that would strengthen the Ukrainian, Western, NATO, U.S. Partnership on their side of the table against Putin, he is rolling out the red carpet, doing military flyovers, giving him a ride in the presidential limousine, and getting none of what he went to Alaska to get. No ceasefire, no imposition of tough consequences and sanctions. It was, as I said earlier, it was just melting.
Susan Rice, please come on our show. You're welcome. You have an open invite anytime, Miss Rice. We will allow you to answer uninterrupted, but we will ask you questions I don't think anyone's ever asked you because we're going to have to reprogram some of that muscle memory there. Rice participated in Russiagate on December 9th, 2016. She was in the famous meeting. How much blame does Susan Rice deserve for all those dead Ukrainians? She has blood on her hands, and President Trump is trying to clean up and stop the bleeding. She helped mismanage the Russia relationships that led us to this pile of unnecessary carnage.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.